Going to be as vulgar as I was. It's only going to get worse for me, guys. The guys here are awesome. Our first comic, she came all the way, like I said, from Sudbury. She said some names for Tyler Morrison, Darren Frost, a bunch of good comedians. She's open for a lot of people. She does this all the time. I want you to give a big round of applause for Leslie Lynn.
Thank you, Shane. Keep going for Shane, everybody. I thought he said it was the Shane show. That's why I signed up. Good evening, Kirkland Lake. My first time coming to Kirkland Lake. I'm wondering, is this where all the products are made for Costco? Driving in, I was looking for that Kirkland factory, you know? And I mean, also, good evening, folks who don't give a shit about hockey, right? I mean, it's on 7 of the 8 TVs, but you could care less, right? We don't care about hockey. Although I do like to check in this time of year. Any Leafs fans in the crowd? Any Leafs fans? Yeah. Well, here you are at a comedy show, because if you didn't laugh, you'd cry, right, ladies? Oh my God. I always tell the Leaf fans around this time of year, just move on. You did your part. You did great work. They let you down again, but you can focus on other things now, like how bad you suck at golf. Not as bad as that Grayson Murray, but... Oh, the news about the PTA suicide didn't make it to Kirkland Lake? Okay, we'll move on. That might be a bit dark. Yeah, he sucks so bad at golf, he killed himself. I think he was also a Leafs fan, though, so maybe that's part of the story. Like Shane mentioned, I'm coming up from Sudbury. Been doing stand-up comedy almost 10 years in Sudbury with these boys. It's me in a basement with 12 guys, 30-year-olds. They come out of the mom's basement, complain about how hard life is. I go up after them and talk about how soft they are. And never mind watching hockey or watching golf. I want to watch Formula One this weekend. They're in Montreal, Formula One. All I want to see is a man who still knows how to change a tire. It's a dying art, boys. If you don't know how, learn it up. Because that's hot. Oh yeah, so me hanging out with the boys all the time. They're never really sure why I'm always hanging around. I overheard some of their conversations. Why is she always hanging around with us? Maybe she wants to fuck us. They think I'm a cougar, but no, I don't identify as a cougar. I think of myself more as a Siberian tiger. That's how that goes. These boys always want to do risque things for comedy, like a roast battle. Have you heard of these roast battles where they just trade insults back and forth all night? Nah, not my cup of tea. I suggested we do a compliments battle where you just trade compliments back and forth all night, or as I would also call it, foreplay. No takers so far. These boys are a bunch of idiots. Shane mentioned his bachelor party. I was able to do stand-up comedy at a bachelor party recently. It was pretty fun, bit of a roast battle actually. They also had me jump out of a cake, of course. But I refused to jerk off the wedding party. Drew the line there. I mean, there was 12 of them, right? I don't want to risk carpal tunnel. Oh, yeah, but it's a really neat hobby so far. It's going well. Did the Timmins Comedy Festival this year, so that was a big milestone. And it was awesome. And recently, I was able to perform for the Truth, so that was really something else. It was just a bunch of Girl Guide troops, though, folks. It wasn't really applause-worthy. But I learned a thing or two from those girls. Oh my goodness. And preteen gals, they like a dick joke just as much as the next girl. So learned a thing or two from them. I'm always the only chick on the lineup. There's not a lot of gals in stand-up comedy, so I pretty much just announce myself as your eye candy for the evening, folks. Here it is. I do explain, though, it's a bit like that Halloween candy you find around Easter time. A little bit old. Dry, crusty, back of the closet. Still sweet though, so pretty fun. I had a fella up front one time ask me, gee, how old is this Halloween candy, Leslie? And I said, well, sir, I turned 35, my most recent birthday, the day before I was diagnosed with dyslexia, so you figure it out. Just how old. It was a cool birthday, though, my most recent birthday this past February. Went and got myself my first tattoo, folks, and it was a tramp stamp, so woo-hoo, I'm in that club. Most gals go with a name for their tramp stamp. I decided to do something a little different. I kind of put just a set of instructions over the crack of my ass. Yeah, really, it says Thermacare heat wrap, place here. For the sore back. That same birthday, my niece was trying to talk me into going out with her and her girlfriends to go see strippers in Sudbury. I was like, oh my god, these young gals do that now and then. I was just like, you know what, you girls go on ahead without me. If I want to see a 21-year-old woman losing all traces of self-esteem and zest for life, I'll just look at my wedding day photos. Yeah, so they did. They went without me. I figured I'd try and dress up fancy for you tonight, so here we are, and checking in, you get to see male comedians all the time. Just wondering, how do you feel about female comedians? Kirk Lake? I hate fishing unless it's for compliments, so really on that water. Yeah, I did dress up fancy for you. This actually used to be my clown costume, this get up. This is what I would wear when I would host children's birthday parties. I would pretty much just spend Saturday afternoons making suggestive balloon animals and single dads uncomfortable. I mean, can you picture it? There was a lot of this. And sometimes two. Good times with the kids, I miss them. Yeah. Oh. Applause worthy. I would have blew harder if I knew that to be a... Where's that? Oh, there it is. The cooler air. I'm getting under that. Woo, hot flash. So yeah, I was gonna say hi to the ladies. Woo, hot over there too. Oh my goodness. I like to check in when there's a girl party happening because I always want to check if you... Am I the only one who's ever heard of this acronym, the DUF, in a friend group? It's horrible. It's from a movie, but I've actually seen girls calling one of their friends the Duff, the dumb, ugly, fat friend. You heard of this? It's from that movie, Mean Girls, and I'm like, that's disgusting. Who would do that? And I always tell these girls, she's not the Duff, the D-U-F-F. She's your B-F-F-F. Because she's the bitch who's going to fuck your future fiance if you keep calling her dumb, ugly, and fat. So, cut it out. Anybody out on a date? I feel like there's a few date nights happening. Saturday night in Kirkland Lake. Good times. And these three guys are looking for dates, so keep them boys. I do love talking about my dating life. I used to check in all the time if there was a cop, any cops in the crowd. It was back in the day when I wanted to try and date a police officer. I was going to get a whole Tinder profile and everything and pretend I was into rough sex. Put that in the profile. It was mostly because I just wanted to try and date a cop, pretend I was into rough sex so I could handcuff him to his own headboard and beat the shit out of him. You know why. Everybody's mad at me. But of course, not all cops, I was planning on getting a real douchebag, so it was going to work out perfectly for me. The other thing I was going to put on a dating profile was the fact that I was a bit curious. And one of my girlfriends, she was like, do you mean bi-curious? I'm like, no, I know we're celebrating Pride Month, but not bi-curious. I'm actually going to be bit curious because I want to find out how much Bitcoin he owns. Yeah, I wasn't sure if cryptocurrency had made it to Kirkland Lake. A few of you know what that is. So that's good. For a while there, I was dating so much that I was calling myself polyamorous. I figured it sounded a little more fancy than just plain old slutty. Bringing a lot of strange men home to dinner back in those days, yikes. And I was out on a date one time. I noticed you guys have a beer called Gold Digger in Kirkland Lake. What a cool product! That would have been so good for me back then. But I mean, I wasn't looking for a meal ticket back then. I was mostly just looking for my next meal. I wasn't a gold digger so much as a clam digger, just kind of hungry little lady. You know how folks, if they're down on their luck, carry a sign that says, "We'll work for food." Well, I wouldn't have wanted my sign to be super misleading and include the word work. No, I would have said something more like, "We'll suck for chicken wings." But yeah, in my polyamorous days, my little nephew one time at dinner, he said to my sister, I figured I'd come up with a fancy word like that, right? Because he did say to my sister, "Is Auntie Leslie a floozy, Mummy?" I was like, whoa. And she piped right up. She said, "No, honey, we're calling that polyamorous right now." So, okay. And this kid, he had such a mouth on him. He was always the one who'd be saying stuff like that, right? Calling me out on my weird behavior. He was always going around bragging. Oh, it was back when it was COVID time, and he was loving how much he could wear his mask and act like a superhero. And he's like, "I love my mask. Oh, it's the best." I'm like, "I hate mine. It stinks, kid." And he's like, "Oh, mine doesn't stink. It smells like hot chocolate and grape crush. I love it." I'm like, "Oh, God, this kid." Just mumbled under my breath, "Yeah, good for you, kid. My mask always just smells like weed and cum." My sister heard that. She yelled across the room, "Leslie, God damn it, you and your potty mouth." I said, "What? I just said my mask always smells like cheese and gum. What did you hear?" But yeah, those days are done. I'm not dating so much anymore. I got myself a real sweet fella. My boyfriend, yeah, he's a darling, darling man. He's the kind of guy that if you're out to dinner or breakfast, whatever, you got one of those wobbly tables, he'll just lean on it the whole meal. You don't even have to worry about it. I guess what I'm saying is my boyfriend's dead weight. But in a good way. And someone accused me of, being a gold digger and maybe finding my sugar daddy finally. I'm like, no, he's maybe a little light on the sugar. He's more like a Splenda, steadier kind of daddy. But he's great. The other thing that slowed down my dating years, certainly the fact that in 2020 and then again 2022, folks, I became a grandmother, so family's growing, yeah, very sweet. It's official now, I am officially a GILF. Oh, it stands for Grandma I'd Like to Fondle, though. Apparently if I'm being a proper nana, I shouldn't have time for fucking anymore, so we're gonna have to check the handbook on that one. And I do wonder sometimes, am I being a proper nana? My daughter just asked me the other night, she says, "Oh my God, the baby's constipated. What did you do when we were kids?" And I said, "Holy shit, I can't remember." I just blurted out, "Well, give him a Corona and Happy Meal. It always cleaned me right out." Not sure if you tried that. Folks almost can't believe I'm already a grandmother. I get questions like, "Gee, you look so young. Did you have your kids when you were 12? And I tell them, "No, when I was a sexually active 12-year-old, I was smart enough to use birth control." And even a preteen can take it up the butt once in a while, Kurt. Well, that's what the Girl Guides told me. Seriously, learn something from these preteen gals. Yeah. Okay, grossed you out. I'll leave you with one of my new favorite jokes. I'm waiting till my grandsons get to the age that I can share some animal trivia with them. Recently came across this one, animal trivia, so share this with your children in your life if you like. It's about octopus. Everybody knows that dolphins are apparently very horny animals. Dolphins, the horniest animals of the sea. Turns out octopus also very kinky. Honestly, folks, octopus are doing something like, they're describing it as 1 in the pink, 1 in the stink, 6 in the ink. So there we are. My name's Leslie Lynn. Book me for your children's birthday parties and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, that was so good. I've never seen her perform before. Hey, give it up. That was good.